Hello, everyone. This is your host, LV, with the Plantation of the Mind. We're so glad to have you with us. And I have a special guest in the building. It is my wife, Miss Dekethia. Come on, somebody. Let's give a hand clap for the lady, my lady, Miss Dekethia.
You're doing too much.
I try.
Hello, everybody. It's good to
All
be
right.
here.
So we're just so glad to have my wife. I'm glad to have her with us as we just have another conversation. This is the Plantation of the Mind. On this channel, what we want to do is unpack and destroy the lie of the negative Black culture and image that we've been given in recent history. It seems like we've adopted this culture that doesn't uplift and doesn't encourage us as a people, but it's a tearing down and it's a very negative view and image of Blackness that's been marketed to the world.
Yeah, it's we definitely are coming from. We're older, and definitely wanting to encourage, the future, of Black people, because there is a richness to us. There is a beauty to us that really needs to be seen and heard, and is not allowing the culture to be the loud noise or the loud voice for who we really are.
And we're like that link in my 50s, 52. I've seen the older generation. My father passed at 75 back in 2017. So understanding that history and who that generation was in Blackness, and then looking back to this generation today, there's a missing link. And a lot of it is because we feel convicted that we've not told the story of true Black culture, true Black history.
You can't really blame young people for what they don't know. And so that's why, because as a believer, we say, it talks about, the older teaching the younger. And so we have to set the example and we have to set the tone. But how will they know if we don't say anything? How will they know if we don't tell them? How will they know if we don't example it? So we need to be the ones speaking on it, talking about it, because we know what it produces. We know the outcomes, and they are learning as they go. But if you've already been seasoned in it and you've seen it, and in even your history, you got to go back and see, like, how do we make sure that the next ones get it? And I think we've gotten lazy about how we're doing that.
Wow.
So.
And that's so good that you said that, because we're not just talking words to you. We're not here just to talk about theory and what if, coulda, woulda, shouldas. We're here to really share not only our ancestors' story, we've seen it, but then we also are old enough to have lived. We have lived history. We've been married for 26 years. We have 4 children of our own that we've raised. We've raised foster children.
As well,
we were a part of raising foster sons and boys. And so we've lived and we've built. We have our own business. We've built that. We've been instrumental in community. We live not just, a good life, but we live on the part of our city that struggles. Yes. So we didn't just pack up when success came to us and move out. Yes. We believe that we're called to live within community and to be a voice, not from without, but to live from within and let people see the secrets and the
successful.
Yeah.
How to grow. Because remember, when God made something out of nothing, he put a garden, and then he said, hey, implement this same thing. And so we tend to mess that up by not just implementing what's already been given to us. And so we, even like I said, my background, the Jones family, we come from some rich, just understanding of God and who he is. Not saying it was perfect and it was great, but it was definitely the things of God. And so that seed that was planted, it grew into something that, for me, I think it probably definitely saved my life, in seeing things differently and not having a mindset that I need to stay within the plantation. We've come up from that, right? My grandmother, she worked in the fields, but she wasn't even, they were getting paid at that time by the time she was even in it. But she still remembers the time, and she rarely brought up the bad about it. Not in to the fact that it was something that she didn't experience. She did, but not to the point where it made them like, I don't know, bitter in a sense. It was more or less just trying to survive. And but from what I seen, but I do know it brought back a richness of just knowing God and following that path.
Yeah, it's amazing. She spoke of the Jones family. It always brings a smile to my face and to my heart, remembering her family. I remember when we first got married, probably in the first few years, we went to a Jones family reunion. And to go to a Jones family reunion, what you're going to go to is a church service in the park. You're going to eat some good food, but you're going to have church.
Yes.
You're going to sing, you're going to worship, you're going to lift up the name of Jesus. And it is going to be awesome with just friendly people who are striving to love one another and to love the Lord. And, that's the key to even the principles that we want to talk about and make sure that we pass on, because what was given to us are 3 cultural pillars for the Black community of old days. Those 3 pillars was faith in God through his son Jesus. That was big time in Black community. And then there was family. Family was always big, and not just father, mother, brother, sister, but the community of family. We even said earlier, we were talking about, what did Black people call each other when they seen one another?
Brother, sister.
Brother, and what is that? Those are symbols of family. Connection. You didn't even have to know the person. You didn't have to know them at all. Didn't even look like you or whatever. But when they passed, hey, brother, hey, sister. And that used to be real. It really was. And it was a sense of endearment of, hey, I may not know you personally, but I'm connected to your story.
Connected to your story.
And we connected to one another.
Yeah. And it's so sad because, I feel like in the South, for sure, we're starting to lose that. We've almost lost that connection of, when I see you, hey, how are you, sister? It's more of a I don't see you. I don't want to be associated with you.
So my wife, she's very friendly. She just loves people, and I could see her. She'll go places, and when she don't get the response from Black women and Black people, because she love them all, when she don't get that sense of, man, I wanted to connect to my sister, she'll intentionally see people in a store and just want to have a conversation or connect. And as she's saying, she feels like some of it is diminished. And just to see that eroding sense of community, she struggles with just sometimes not feeling that connect.
That connection. And I don't know if it's just the area we live in. I don't know. But you'll be like, hey, and it's almost like, if I don't know you, you ain't in my circle, I ain't trying to holler at you like that or talk to you like that, And I did hear on a podcast that another one, a gentleman was saying the same thing in the South, and a lot of the ones that are from the North was like, we don't experience that, we don't go through that. So it might be a Southern thing, I don't know, but I do know I see a lot of it in Black people where they just avoid each other and don't really, acknowledge each other unless they know each other. They're in a family group or whatever, and it's like you're the only 2 in the room, or the only 2 in the area, and it's like, and we're not connecting like it used to be. Like it was like, hey,
Yeah. No, things are, and this has been happening, I think, with, it's always been music. It's always been television. It's always been these social mediums that have, of recent, been engineering a sense of self-hatred
Yes.
That we see images on television, we see bad actors and things that, that's just not good. We see the baddie culture, thug culture, all of that kind of stuff. Honest and good black people never promoted that.
Exactly.
Never would say, hey, that's us. That's cool.
That's who we are.
No, that would be put down in our communities to say, man, you don't act like that. Yeah. You don't dress like that.
Yeah.
You don't treat one another like that. But yet the culture of today, when it looks at social media, it's almost given that's just what we do.
Right. And I think that's where I had the hardest time, is understanding the mindset of this is okay. And this is what makes us look cool. This is what, people like us because no, as a matter of fact, it's repulsive. They might laugh at you doing it, but they're not really trying to say that that's something that they want to be connected to. Most people behind closed doors, they're like, nah, that's really not what I want to be associated with. I want to be connected to. That's not who when we talk about morals and values of life, no, nobody wants that. Don't nobody want the baby mama drama stuff. Don't nobody want the dude that don't care and he just has, laid up and smoking and drinking and doing all things and no job. What culture, who wants that? And the girls that's always fighting and always got something to say, it's just the unfeminine ways of the black women for sure that is being promoted in our TV shows. I don't know, what is it like baddies, and I think even some of the housewives shows. It's ridiculous.
And this is what we're here for. What we're here for is to combat the lies.
The lies, for sure.
That is socially engineered ignorance and foolishness.
Yes.
And black people are, because it's popular or because maybe they can make $1 doing it, they're acting as if this is us. But I'm telling you, that is a minority. That is not true black culture at all. This is the plantation that they're trying to connect us to. The lie that they're trying to put on us as if, no, this is what we all do, right? This is how we are, right? And no. That's the lie.
That's the lie, for sure. And we're to address it, we need to be addressing it, because we have 2 daughters, and we have sons, two boys, 2 girls, and watching my daughters, and even seeing a few young ladies that are like, they're almost in their 40s before they're even meeting anybody or getting into relationships, and so I don't want that for my baby girls, like I really want them to find the mate that is going to, lead, that's going to provide, that's going to protect, and all the things that they deserve to have in that I've been given. And I searched that out because I do remember watching things around me. So I have a mentor, and her husband I love them to pieces, but they have 8 children, and I watched that, and that was encouraging to me. Like I said, my grandmother came from 13 or more, I think. So you look at what worked and what didn't work, and that's what we should be looking at, rather than, this is just something to make money off of it. And I'm really disappointed even in the social, not just social media, but in Hollywood or even acting, that you wouldn't take on a role that says, you know what, I'm gonna make sure I'm promoting the best, what looks well, because you'll see some cultures that promote family. Why aren't we doing the same? Let's promote family. Let's promote, coming together. Let's promote camaraderie. Let's promote business building. What does that look like?
And that's what we're here for. That's what this channel and our conversations are going to be geared toward, which is how to get back to the true foundation. And I started off by telling you it was faith in God through his son, Jesus. Amen. And then it was also strong family values that affected the way we lived and treated one another.
Exactly.
And then it was just hard work.
Yes.
We were a people that did not wait on anyone to give us anything, because people were not giving us anything.
Wow.
So therefore, we were all about working. We were all about putting out our energy, our wisdom, our creativity to provide and to build what it is we wanted built, and we didn't take no for an answer. We didn't allow the hurdles to become excuses. We did not allow the pushback to become the reason why we could not, because if we as a people done that, we'd have never gotten anywhere. And so this is the story we received. You know, my father, like I said, passed at 75. I never heard the man complain about injustice or about other people or about some other man keeping him down or not allowing him to become something.
Exactly, that part.
That generation, they didn't look to another man. They looked to God.
Right.
They found value within their own selves because they knew that they carried the very image of God within themselves. And so for us, we want to restore that back to this younger generation, to reconnect to your ancestors, reconnect to a generation that went through far worse and far more than you've ever faced in your life, even in me, in my life. I've never seen the types of hatred and hurdles that generation faced, and yet they done it with such beauty and such class.
They sure did. Exactly.
They are the most beautiful. I really believe they were the reason why God's judgment did not come on America.
That part. Oh my God.
Because they were such righteous and godly people.
But isn't that it though? Isn't that what it's supposed to be about? Like, God blesses those that walk in that way. And I think we've lost telling that part. Because when I met my husband, I think that's what really drew me to him. This was a man raising like young boys that were that basically what we call orphans, or and they don't have their mother and their father. That is something to put yourself in a place and say, I'm going to raise these children and help them with the best that I have, with what's been given to me, to the best of my ability, because I don't want to see them go through something that I necessarily went through, in a negative way. And that's how you pass things on, right? So I wanted that as well. So I searched out someone who could give that for my children and be able to do the same thing, but like I say, culture is very strong, but who's what's the word for it I'm looking for? Whoever is manipulating it or controlling it seems to be gaining the power, and we don't want them to have that type of power over the next generation.
Wow. As you were speaking, it just came to me so clearly. This culture that we're living in, called Black culture, it is a vampire. Oh, yeah. It is a culture that sucks the life out of whatever it leeches itself onto. That's so true. You give yourself over to this culture of debauchery and foolishness and just whatever I can do to become famous or become known, and you can sell yourself off for this low level fame instead of saying, God, help me to connect to the truth of my original identity as a child of God, first of all, a believer in God, and then become a man, a woman that wants to give the next generation something better. And the way you do that is by becoming the best version of yourself. Putting on the image of righteousness in your own character. And like my wife said, pursuing someone that is male or female that exhibit the kind of character that you want. When I saw my wife, I mean, she pretty, she beautiful and all of that. And I saw in her a strong Black woman. I didn't see hood and gangster and baddie and none of all that stuff. That wasn't in our generation. It's amazing that young Black women of old, I mean, I'm 50 now. and I remember back in my day, I mean, Black girls, they wasn't doing all that.
They really wasn't.
They wasn't in this put out culture as it is.
But when we got a hold of some of these videos that was saying that we should, it became is that what it means to get attention? Is that what I need to be seen or to be heard? I got to do all those things. But then when you sit back and you look and you're like, and you think about it, no, you wanted someone that was going to love you. You wanted someone that was going to treat you with compassion. You wanted someone that was going to take care of you and be the security, not gold digger and she out here doing all the things, because that that's what mindset it was starting to put us in. And whenever you put that in somebody's mindset, people start to say, well, I guess that's what they think, so that's what I'll become. And no, that is so far from what was before. That's trying to change. You got to ask, why is that even a thing now?
Social media, movies, music, television,
it is influential.
They have done a horrible promotion or job on the image of Black people, but in particular the Black woman. And my heart hurts because of how it has cast her to be like not worthy of true love and respect.
Yeah.
Like, you can't trust her. She's only a gold digger. She's after your money.
Wow.
She's angry. All she wants to do is fight. She's rude. She'll never be honorable or respectful. She just wants her own way. Social media has placed her in a way that it has dropped her value in the image. And this isn't the real Black woman. If you get to know people, you'll know that, man, TV and movies, they ain't even close to what people are. But it is what is being marketed.
Yeah, and for the man too, for Black men, Black women, it's like they put the thug culture out there to make him be this, and then that produced like he like all these women, he need all these women, and so
he can't be
faithful, he can't be doing.
He ain't gonna keep a job.
All of the things that it's labeling as, and so then you start fighting each other. You're not gonna do this, and you're not gonna do that. So we
believing the lies about one another.
Exactly.
But leaving the plantation of the mind is when we start putting down or recognizing, first of all, that this is marketing, that this is the campaign to keep us from connecting and loving and treating each other with good faith.
Yeah.
Believing that we all are here and we want the best for ourselves and for one another.
Exactly.
And just to really stir that back up again and to really reconnect to our ancestors' wisdom and to share that. Y'all, that's what this channel and that's what our heart is all about. We're not here to beat anyone up or judge or to put somebody in a camp. When we're talking about certain bad parts of Black culture, believe me, this is not the majority. It is a minority, but it's loud.
That part.
Yeah. And so we've got to do our part to just call it out and say, no, that is not who we are. And that is not who our children are. You are a child of God. And we are so thankful that God allowed us to be brought to the world in this shade. In this shade.
Beautiful.
I tell that beautiful Black woman all the time, girl, you got just the most beautiful, rich skin. Girl, you are the bomb. And I'm telling you, I do. My wife ain't gonna lie to you. I let her know.
And Lord knows, like, I love the man that I married. I love his just his strength, and there's something about, I'm just saying, especially in the Black community, men, they have this strength and a boldness and a love that if you really pay attention and you encourage it and you give it what it needs nurturing, right? We're powerful, we're powerful people, and it's a beautiful thing to be in this dark skin. So love it, understand it, embrace it.
and that is what we're doing, you all. We're leaving the plantation of negativity and looking through the lens of the lie.
Exactly.
We want to look through the lens of who we really are. And the best way to do that is to look back to the strength of a people that endured so much bad, and they done it with such beauty.
Yes.
And we are the legacy and the lineage of that people.
And let's produce the fruit of it, really lean hard into that. And but it has been a pleasure being here with you, babe.
Well, thank you so much, pretty lady.